Okay, we're on the record on State versus Loyd. He's present with his attorneys. He has put on a pink tie. Looks the only difference from the way he's attired from this morning. Anything we need to address before we bring the jury back in? No, ma'am. You have two witnesses before Mr. Loyd testifies, is that correct? So we're going to take a break at the end of those two witnesses so I can go through the colloquy with him and we can get a couple other things done. All right?
I mean to remind the court that he doesn't swear, so when you affirm
He's affirmed, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring the jury back in. State recognized presence of the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes.
All right, welcome back, folks. Hope you had a good lunch. Salome, defense may call your next witness.
Defense calls John Sawicki.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. See you right here. Thank you.
You may inquire.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Would you tell me your name?
John Sawicki, S-A-W-I-C-K-I.
And how are you employed, Mr. Sawicki?
I'm a forensic computer scientist and electronic evidence consultant.
And what does that mean?
That essentially means that what I do is dig through computers and cell phones, cell phone records, document what I find, and prepare to testify about it later.
Okay. And can you give the jury some of your background?
Sure. Education-wise, I have an undergraduate degree in management human resources. I have a law degree from Florida State University. I have a graduate certificate in computer forensics from the University of Central Florida. I have a master's degree in digital forensics from the University of Central Florida. I've done graduate level coursework in the area of radio frequency engineering through the University of California, San Diego's extension program. I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 to 700 hours of training in the area of computer and cell phone forensics and how cell phone networks operate and getting data out of devices.
And how long have you been doing this, sir?
I left my law practice, well, I started my company in 2011. I left my law practice to do this full-time in 2013.
And who hires you?
You did.
Okay, but who else hires you?
I'm hired by attorneys, government agencies, law firms all the time.
Okay. Were you hired in this case by myself?
I was.
Okay, and what was the task that I asked you to do?
You asked me to review discovery materials for issues the defense could work with. We did a number of other things as well, including some cell phone extraction.
Okay. Did there come an occasion when I asked you to go down to the Orlando Police Department and extract information from Sade Dixon's phone?
You did.
And can you tell me what you did and what you used?
Yeah, so I traveled to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, met with the I guess he's actually a civilian employee, Mr. Montgomery, at the Sheriff's Office where he had removed the cell phone from evidence. I used an application called Cellbrite, which is kind of the gold standard when it comes to cell phone extractions anymore. Connected the cell phone to my computer and used that software to conduct a cell phone extraction by pulling the data out of that device and putting it onto a flash drive so it can be preserved.
Okay. And what does that program do for you? What is it? What it's capable of doing?
It has two components to it. The first piece is extraction, which allows you to pull the data out of the device. And the second piece is analysis, which allows you to go through and parse out the data into the variety of different components. So if the data comes out in one big data bucket, you're then able to separate it out into call logs and text messages and chats, images, videos, things of that nature.
And what is the document that's created? And in this particular case, how big was the document that was created?
In this case, what we ended up creating as a result of that extraction was a report, and in fact, we did 2 of them. One of the reports is an report of the entire extraction, which runs about 2,200 pages. It's in a PDF file format. There are a number of other formats you could push it into, but for purposes of this, PDF is probably the best format. And then we did, I did a second report, which was filtering the data for about the last, I believe it was the last 6 days of the device. So I believe it was from December 10th, 2016 to December 15th or 16th, 2016.
All right, and so I'm showing you what's been marked as defendants N and O for identification purposes. May I approach it? Can you tell the jury what those are?
These are the 2 CDs that I prepared that contain the PDF reports. The first one is the full Cellbrite report, which runs about 2,200 pages. The second one is the filtered Cellbrite report for the dates of December 10th, 2016 to December 16th, 2016, which I think runs about 198 pages.
All right, so which one is which?
The Fulbright report, the full report, which is it's been marked for identification as N, is the full report. The filtered report has been marked for identification as O.
Okay. I'm also, Judge, I'm moving that to evidence subject to what we discussed. Sidebar.
Next, or when you get to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You objecting?
State's objecting based on the conversation.
Right, it's not this way.
Right.
All right.
I'm showing you what's been marked as defendants S and defendants U. Can you tell me what those are?
Defendants S is the 198-page PDF report. This is the filtered report for the dates of December 10th through December 16th, with the exception it doesn't contain attachments because you can't print videos or audio into a PDF file, so that's why it's contained on the disk as well.
So is that all of the text conversation that Ms. Dixon had during that week with everybody she had on that phone?
It's the text conversation, there's call logs, there are pictures that could have been taken over the week. I believe there's browser history in here as well. It's all of the different varieties.
And when you were talking about the full report, which is 2,200 pages, that would include everything that was on her phone at the time?
Yes, sir.
This is isolated down to the 1 week you talked about?
That's correct.
All right. And what is the second document I showed you? Could you name that?
Defendants U is the portion of the smaller report, pages 54 through 61, which contains the chat messages between Markeith Loyd and Sade Dixon.
So the defendant's U is all the text conversations on Ms. Dixon's phone for the 6 days preceding the 16th, I guess would be the shooting date, and a couple of texts that occurred after the shooting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Judge, I move those into evidence under the same.
All right. I'll hold on those, same as the others.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'll hold on those, same as the others.
Now, in the course of your duties, did there come an occasion that you were asked to examine that 6-day period where there was some outside sources within those texts that you had to look at?
Yes, there was.
Okay. I'm showing you what's been marked as Exhibit R. And Exhibit T. Without telling me what were in those specific texts. Can you tell me what they were, what you were looking at, and what those pieces of evidence are?
Within the chat messages was a series of screenshots that had been transmitted from one person to the other.
Okay. From who to who?
I believe they were transmitted from Sade Dixon to Markeith Loyd.
Okay.
And what's been marked as Defense R is a printout of 5 of those screenshots.
Okay.
The CD, which has been marked as Defense T, is an electronic version of the same screenshots.
Now, the screenshots are from where?
They're from Facebook Messenger.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to, as part of your duties, review both Ms. Dixon's access to Mr. Loyd's Facebook and Mr. Loyd's Facebook?
I did.
And did you make a determination whether Ms. Dixon had access to Mr. Loyd's Facebook?
I did.
And how were you able to make that determination and explain that to the jury?
I will. There were a couple of different artifacts left behind in her phone that indicated she was able to access his Facebook account. Probably the most important of those was Facebook phone calls within the call log. And what I mean by that is, in addition to being a social media application, Facebook has a call component, not unlike making calls within your cell phone like you normally would, except that it actually uses Facebook as the medium by which you're communicating. Well, those show up within the call log for the iPhone itself. In this case, it was calls using Markeith Loyd's Facebook account that were showing within Ms. Dixon's iPhone. And then the second piece, of course, was the screenshots of messages from Facebook from Mr. Loyd's Facebook account.
Did you determine whether Mr. Loyd was able to make calls from his Facebook and whether he did during this period of time?
I didn't have access to his phone, so we weren't ultimately able to determine whether or not he had made any calls that way.
So when you're talking about what you saw in regards to the Facebook texts that she sent him, where did those come from?
I believe they came from his cell phone, or I'm sorry, from his Facebook account.
Okay. And did you verify that?
I don't recall specifically seeing these within his account except for the last one, image 0114.
Okay. And did you obtain that document that you're referring to and what's on the disk from her phone?
Yes, sir.
All right. I moved that into evidence. Same.
All right, I'll hold
issue
on that
occurrence.
for the next.
And did you actually have an opportunity to look at and retrieve some items from Mr. Loyd's Facebook?
I did.
I'm showing you what's marked as P and Q for identification purposes. May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Can you tell me what those are without telling me what they are?
These are 2 videos that I was able to retrieve from Mr. Loyd's Facebook account and save to CD.
And those exhibits are?
Defense P and Q.
Right. Again, move those into evidence subject to what we discussed. I have no further questions.
Cross.
No question, Your Honor.
All right, may this witness be excused?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. You are free to go.
Thank you,
Good
Your Honor.
afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Call your next witness.
Glen McKree.
You may inquire.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Would you tell me your name?
Glen McKree.
Okay. And do you know Markeith Loyd?
Yes, sir.
How do you know Mr. Loyd?
Cousin.
He's your cousin? Okay, I want to take you back to 2016, in the months of October, November, December. Were you living with Markeith?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how you came about living with him?
I was going through a little situation about finding somewhere to stay. I was kind of like living in my car, and I asked him, and he let me move in with him.
Okay. Where was Mr. Loyd, Markeith, living?
On 18.
Okay. What kind of place did he live in?
It's a 5-bedroom house.
Okay. And so did he let you move in?
Yes. Let me move in, and gave me a date to start paying him.
Okay. And so when you moved in, was he with Sade Dixon at the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know during that period of time that you lived there, and then while they were together, that he had issues with her about her smoking weed?
Yeah, he didn't like it.
Can you tell me what you know about that?
None that she was pregnant, so he didn't want her smoking weed because she was pregnant.
Did he let her know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Would she try to hide it from him?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know?
Well, I seen her get caught a couple times, like, and you know when he come around, she'll put it down, like she ain't smoking.
Okay. Okay. Did there come a time when you were at the house when you and Sade found out that Markeith had been robbed?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know when that was?
I don't know the exact day, but I was there the day that it happened.
Okay, and tell me what happened while you were there when you found out he was robbed.
I was in a room and she came in the house like he been robbed. We got to go to where he at.
All right.
So I put on my shoes and stuff and went with her.
Okay. Did she have anything with her?
She had a gun.
What was she saying when she had the gun?
She just was like, he got robbed. Somebody robbed him, and we got to go get him.
How was she acting?
That's it. So she just was, I don't know, I guess concerned about her boyfriend, about her, just a regular concerned girlfriend.
When you arrived at the scene, did you see the police there?
Yes.
And they were talking to Markeith?
They had him on the corner.
Okay. Did Markeith start doing anything different after he was robbed?
Yeah, he moved different.
Okay. What about in terms of carrying a gun?
He started carrying a gun.
Okay. Did you ever see him carry a gun before that?
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry?
No, sir.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have, Judge. Thank you.
Cross.
Mr. Loyd also didn't like Sade Dixon eating meat, did he?
Well, he was telling us some things about, eating meat and stuff like that too, though. So I'm pretty sure he probably didn't, but I can't really say for sure.
And it upset him when Ms. Dixon didn't do what he wanted her to do? He was fine with it?
I'm saying, like, anybody would be upset, like when you're dealing with a relationship,
Okay, so
but
she,
not
When she wasn't doing what he thought she should do, he was upset about that.
Yeah, he had some kind of feelings about it.
Did Miss Dixon carry 2 guns by any chance? You ever see her with 2 guns?
Mm-mm.
You ever see Markeith Loyd with 2 guns?
I seen him with a gun.
With 2 guns?
Yes.
After the robbery,
After.
but not before. I have another question.
Redirect.
No further questions.
All right, may this witness be excused? All right, thank you, sir. You're free to go.
Let's go ahead right down.
Folks, I hate to send you back to the jury room so quickly, but I have an issue I need to resolve that came up. So if y'all go back to the jury room, I'll bring you back just as soon as I can. Thanks. Let's swear in Mr. Loyd. Remember, he just affirms. Mr. Loyd, raise your right hand, please, to affirm.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right. Mr. Loyd, your attorneys have indicated to me that you're going to testify in this matter. Is that correct? All right. I'm not here to give you legal advice, and I'm not giving you legal advice, but I need to go over this with you, all right? You have an absolute right to remain silent. You understand that? And if you decided you did not want to testify, I would read the jury a pretty detailed instruction that tells them that you have the right to remain silent. The state has to prove this case against you. And the fact that you're not taking the witness stand can't be used by them in any way, shape, or form in deciding whether or not the state has approved the case against you. You follow me so far? All right. On the other hand, you have the absolute right to testify in your own behalf, and that decision only you can make. Neither your attorneys, the court, nor anyone else can stop you from testifying if you want to. You should absolutely get advice from your attorneys about testifying or not testifying, but the decision is yours. You follow that? All right. Your attorneys have indicated to me that you intend to testify, and that means a couple of things. Number one, once you begin answering questions, you've waived your right to remain silent, and you must answer the questions that are asked of you unless I rule otherwise. Do you understand that? You can't stop because you don't like a question and say, I'm not going to answer that. It doesn't work that way. The other thing you need to be aware of is your prior record comes in a limited fashion. How many impeachable offenses does he have?
4.
Is 4 the agreed number?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are they all felonies, or does he have impeachable misdemeanors?
All felons.
All right, thanks. You have 4 prior felony convictions. When you're asked the question by one side or the other, if you don't give the right answer, which is 4, then the state can put in your judgments and sentences to prove that it's more. You understand that? Okay. And that rule is the same for any witness who testifies your prior record comes in. Have you had enough time to talk to your attorneys about the decision to testify or not testify in this case? Do you need more time to speak to them about it? Have you chosen to testify in this case? Has anyone put any pressure on you, tried to influence you in any inappropriate way? I'm not talking about attorneys giving you legal advice. I'm saying, has anybody tried to put any kind of inappropriate pressure on you to get you to testify in this case? Has anyone tried to pressure to get you not to testify in this case? Are you satisfied with that? Don't tell me what it is. Are you satisfied with the advice your attorneys have given you about testifying in this case? All right. The deputies are going to go over procedures for you. My understanding, Mr. Lenneman, is that you're going to ask him to step off the stand? Yes. How far are you going to have him move around the courtroom? And if you'll come over here and indicate it to the deputies, please. The easel? Yeah.
I think we can do everything within the perimeters, kind of like a pier is.
Okay.
This corner.
So you're going to keep him right in that well right there?
Yeah, right this well.
Okay. All right, anything else you're going to have him do besides that?
No, just some exchanges and distances and things like that.
It's all in that well right there? Okay.
And then he's going to mark on the exhibit that we will choose.
All right, no problem. Mr. Loyd, there haven't been any problems with you in court during this trial at all. I don't want there to be any problems during your testimony. Stay within that area that your attorney has indicated to you. If there's going to be an issue where you need to move outside that area, talk to your attorney, let us know in some way, all right? They're not going to be deputies surrounding you or anything like that. You're going to be treated like every other witness, but you really aren't like every other witness. So if you move out of that well, the deputies will react. Do you understand that? All right. And I don't want there to be any problems at all with your testimony, okay? Anything else we need to go over? No. All right, we do need to take a short break. Deputies are going to take Mr. Loyd into the back, so. All right, while Mr. Loyd has stepped out of the courtroom, I do want to address the members of the audience. The rules are the same when Mr. Loyd is testifying as I gave you for any other witness, and that is there will be no overt reactions from anyone in this audience. No making faces, no, I better not see a cell phone come out. I've already warned you all about cell phones. You will not react. There will be no audible reactions. There'll be no faces, no laughing, no anything. If you start, the deputies will escort you from the courtroom. Understood? All right, thanks.